E60 Story Update, The Torpedo.
Dara Torres is the first U.S. swimmer to have competed in 4 Olympic Games, winning 9 medals along the way. But what makes her journey remarkable is that it's not over. At the Beijing Games, she's swimming in her 5th Olympics at age 41. There, she's already won her 10th career medal, a silver in the 4x100 meter freestyle relay.
There have been great athletes before that just collect medal after medal, but this is different. This is basically unmeasurable in medals, and so what she's accomplishing. And I think this will be the story of the Olympic Games.
Dara Torres on the comeback trail.
Hi, Mom.
In 2000, we had a sort of a running joke that I'd call her mom because I was 15 and she was, what, almost 30? Or over 30.
Torres burst onto the scene nearly a quarter century ago at the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. She retired for the 3rd time in 2000 after the Sydney Games. 6 years later, she was pregnant and simply looking to get back in shape. She found a local pool where one of Florida's top club teams trained.
I started swimming on the Masters team, and really strictly, again, just for exercise, but I found myself racing these middle-aged men who, even though I had this pregnant belly, wanted to race me, and I couldn't help myself. It's like the competitive juices started to flow.
Only 10 meters to go.
Last year, at age 40, she would break the American record in the 50-meter freestyle.
American record for Dara Torres.
At the Olympic trials in July, she lowered her mark yet again, just 2 days after winning the 100 free. In Beijing, she's skipping the 100, focusing instead on the 50. Why forego the 100?
The schedule in the Olympics is pretty tough. If I kept the 100, I would have the 100, the 50 free, and 2 relays. That would be swimming 8 times in 5 days. And that's a lot for someone my age. I'm just spreading myself thin, and I don't think I'd be at my peak on the relays if I had to swim all those events. I also have a better chance at winning a medal in the 50.
Her attempt to become the fastest woman in water has raised the inevitable questions about whether she's doping.
It's very sad that that's happening. That makes it hard for me because it taints what I'm doing.
Anticipating suspicions about the legitimacy of her times, Torres requested a meeting with the CEO of the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency.
We sat down and I said, look, I want to do whatever I can to show that I'm not on drugs. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I said, blood test me, urine test me every day if you want, DNA test me, whatever you want to do.
I just said, you know, I hear what you're saying, and unfortunately in the world we live in, Dara, a lot of athletes say that very same thing. And she said, well, you know, where I am in my career, I'm not going to take the risks. I don't need to take the risks. I have a family of my own now, and I'm not going to jeopardize any of that.
Torres has never failed a drug test, but now she is part of a new USADA program that requires she submit to extra out-of-competition blood and urine tests. The pilot program can help athletes demonstrate their innocence before anyone can accuse them of guilt. Torres says that she's given blood at least a dozen times over the past 3 months. Samples are being frozen for future, more sophisticated tests. Torres does take 3 drugs that USADA monitors, inhalers that address an asthma condition she says she was diagnosed with in the 1990s. One of them she puffs on 30 minutes before a race to open up her lungs. She has medical waivers to use them. How much of an advantage do you receive by doing an inhaler right before a race?
The advantage I receive is that I have the same breathing capacity after I take the medicine than my competitors. My philosophy is to do everything possible legally to be the best that I can be.
That commitment starts in the kitchen of her home near Fort Lauderdale, where she lives with her boyfriend and their daughter.
So you want to see what my other secrets are here?
I do.
All right, so this is AM Sport, which is only made in Germany right now. It's my amino acids.
10 scoops a day promote the natural release of growth hormone. It helps repair muscle. She has 15 pounds less muscle than she had in Sydney, but she's just as strong, using a regimen that relies less on weightlifting than on medicine balls and pulleys.
How does she compare to other athletes you've worked with?
She's absolutely exceptional. I mean, for a 41-year-old athlete, you would expect Dara to be slightly behind, if not quite behind, but she is way ahead. I mean, the average athlete, I would say, takes anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks to really adapt to something that Dara takes about 1 week to adapt to.
After the workout, it's off to the pool for 2 hours of high-intensity swimming. Then she lays down for 2 full-time personal stretchers who mash and twist her body back into shape. They travel with Torres everywhere. After lunch, it's back home for a light massage, and then it's off to the chiropractor. In all, Torres spends nearly $100,000 a year on her support team, paid for largely by sponsors.
She seems to have physical attributes that make her the perfect swimmer. She's tall, she's lean, her body is very balanced, long hands, long fingers, long feet.
How would it feel to be known as the oldest Olympic swimming champion ever?
I think I don't really look at it that way, because even though there are days that I definitely feel 40, 41, sometimes probably even 50, I still feel young. I've had many people come up to me and say, you know, this has really inspired me to get back into whatever it was they put off or didn't think they could do, and so that's a very rewarding feeling.